I've often given the sports world credit for sometimes being more progressive than the rest of society. For example, Jackie Robinson integrated baseball in 1947. That was 7 years before the Supreme Court's Brown versus the Board of Education decision ruled that racial segregation in public schools was unconstitutional. And it was almost 20 years before the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which prohibited discrimination based on race, sex, and religion. And apparently sports has now gotten so far ahead of where the rest of us are that they can create a universe where any mention of racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, discrimination, and homophobia simply don't exist. Now, FIFA's Club World Cup just kicked off here in America. 11 American cities will host Club World Cup matches, and soccer fans will certainly get to see some terrific matches and dynamic players. But what soccer fans won't see in American venues are ads like this.
FIFA has a strict approach to all forms of discrimination. Football breaks down barriers and empowers us to overcome challenges. FIFA believes everyone has the right to inherit a world free from prejudice. That discrimination in any form, race, gender or religion has no place in our game.
Unlike previous FIFA competitions, American patrons will not be shown any videos, signs, or messaging that mention racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, nor will they hear any of FIFA's anti-racism protocols, which tells fans that racist cheers won't be tolerated, according to a recent report by The Athletic. Now, this is a sharp departure from how things were done at the Men's World Cup in Qatar in 2022 and the Women's World Cup in Australia in 2023. Now, at the Women's World Cup, slogans such as Unite for Inclusion and Unite for Indigenous Peoples and Unite for Gender Equality and Unite for Ending Violence Against Women were commonplace, and they appeared on captains' armbands and on advertising boards across the stadium. For years, FIFA has waged anti-racism campaigns because there is a bad history there when it comes to soccer and racism. And FIFA president Gianni Infantino has been especially vocal about how the organization wants to deal with the issue. Just last month, Infantino asked world leaders to join FIFA in fighting racism in their sport. And a few years ago, on the eve of the World Cup in Qatar, Infantino went all Jake Brigance from the movie A Time to Kill.
I think for what we Europeans have been doing in the last 3,000 years around the world, we should be apologizing for the next 3,000 years before starting to give moral lessons to people. Today, I have very strong feelings, I can tell you that. Today I feel Qatari. Today I feel Arab. Today I feel African. Today I feel gay. Today I feel disabled. Today I feel a migrant worker.
So if Infantino was feeling all Qatari, gay, African, and disabled in 2022, but now FIFA is switching it up in 2025, why did Infantino go from sounding like Nina Simone to I don't see color? FIFA hasn't explained why they chose not to continue their anti-racism campaign in America for Club World Cup, but I can think of one pretty big reason why FIFA is suddenly backing down.
What team seems to be favored?
Well, on the club one, which takes place this year, of course, Real Madrid, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, the Germans, Paris Saint-Germain, the French. The big ones are always there, and these clubs are multinationals. They have players from all countries.
They always seem to be there.
They are always there.
Those great
they
teams.
are always there. Yeah. And then next year, Argentina, Brazil,
right.
England, Germany, Spain.
It's going to be great.
So it will be great.
Any questions for Johnny?
US is coming up. US is coming. Watch the US. Some very, very good players playing in Europe, but we need to bring them back here to play here.
So can the US win?
The U.S. can win, yes, with the public behind.
See?
They playing some of the top teams.
He knows.
Yeah. They playing some of the top teams.
There's a shot, right?
Yeah, there is a shot, absolutely.
That was, of course, Donald Trump, who had Infantino in the Oval Office a few months ago to announce a special White House task force for the 2026 World Cup, which will jointly be hosted by Canada, Mexico, and the United States. And just in case you're confused, Club World Cup taking place right now and the World Cup taking place next year, two different tournaments. Now, considering that Trump and his administration have gone all in on putting anything not white, male, heterosexual, or Christian under attack, perhaps Infantino decided that just for the Club World Cup, let's just let racism feel a little more at home, since there is clearly widespread support for it in this presidential administration. Now, I've long let go of any hope that leagues, teams, and other sports organizations actually care about making any kind of real impact when it comes to social justice. They care about looking racist. They don't care about being a racist. They care about performance and optics. Meanwhile, the players that power their leagues are impacted by the social issues that they readily abandon when it's time to take a real stand. Now, surely Infantino isn't oblivious to the fact that the Club World Cup is happening just as ICE is cosplaying as modern-day slave catchers across this country. In fact, ICE is showing up at these Club World Cup matches hoping to nab undocumented soccer fans, and they've even told people they should carry their immigration papers with them if they plan on attending the matches. Freedom papers coming back like Jordan wearing the 4-5. Now, some have suggested that FIFA should withdraw next year's World Cup from the United States, but considering the World Cup has been in Qatar and Russia, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say moral compass of a country isn't a high priority for them. Others have encouraged people to boycott the World Cup and the Club World Cup, but I can't say I anticipate there will be any major needle moving in that direction because people love their sports, which is the reason countries who are shaky when it comes to human rights and dictatorships love to use sports as a shield to cover up the ugliness they don't want the world to see. I'm Jemele Hill, and I approve this message.